Good afternoon and welcome to Clear Lake in Review. Today's program is the first of two programs produced at a recent gold and silver banquet held at the Catholic Church in Clear Lake. My guests today are Mary Monson, Lee Westgate, Cyrus Hilyar, William and Mary Kessler, and Mabel Breeden. Lee, could you tell us a little bit about the fire in Clear Lake that you lived through?
The fire was burning out back of the cemetery. It burnt through the cemetery. And they had a water tank, but the water tank belonged to Briggs, and the horses they used was for Briggs horses, and one time down the lake, and Orleans the next time down the lake. They changed horses as they went down the lake and come back. They had men, they dipped them with pails in water. And they changed horses each time when they went down and come back. And just as soon the tank was back, it was empty. People were carrying water out and fighting the water with sacks.
How much of Clear Lake burned in this fire?
I would say about half of Clear Lake.
I see.
The Masonic Lodge and the hotel and the drugstore. And no, I can't remember for sure. I think Gillette didn't burn up, but Ingles burned up. That's the Masonic Temple. I would say about half of Clear Lake burned up. And then there was quite a few farms that burned out in the country.
I see. When was this fire?
Well, that's what I can't tell you when it was. I don't remember. It was way back, I probably was 5 years old, something like that.
Does anyone remember the fire in Clear Lake? Anyone else that lived?
I wasn't here at the time. I was born down near Waupun, Wisconsin.
I see.
And we moved up to Deer Park in 1901. Oh, I wasn't here at that time.
What are some of the things that you remember in your life here, Mr. Hilyar?
What I remember?
Right.
Well, when I first started learning carpenter trade, to build a barn out here for Knut Lorentzen. That's the first job.
I see. And you were in the construction business
yes.
in your life?
I put in 50 years in 1962. And out here at this high school in 22, I finished all the way through there for Niebuhr Construction out of Minneapolis.
You mean the one that's down here in Forest?
The one over here, the high school.
Here in Clear Lake?
You mean the high school's up here?
Yeah, well, that's the one in
Clear Lake. The second schoolhouse. The first one was there.
Well, I don't know where the other one was.
When I went to school, it was on top of the hill.
Yeah.
That was a 4-room. That was old soft brick.
Oh, this is that brick building that they had so much controversy about. They figured the town was going bankrupt, when they built that school.
That's the one that's here yet.
Yeah, sure, it's over there.
The one I'm talking about is torn down and went away.
I see.
I went to school and went up on the hill.
I see. How about you, Mary? Where did you?
The one that they're talking about, I went to high school in. The high school and the grades all were in that one little building.
Over here you went?
In that little square building.
That he's talking about.
No, this one's older.
This one's the one over on the highway what I was talking about.
How many schools have there been here in Clear Lake?
It must have been the third one then.
The first one out on the highway. On top of the hill, and I'll tell you who helped build it. George Booth helped build it. George Booth helped lay brick on. That's Roy Book's father now.
Well, this was Niebuhr Construction Company from Minneapolis.
That was the new high school, the so-called new high school.
Yeah.
That's the new one you're talking about now.
Built in 1922.
That's when it was. That's all when I worked on it.
And this other building was there. And that's where I
That's
went
the
to
square
high
one this way from it.
Yes.
Just a little
Kesslers,
east.
how long have you lived here in Clear Lake?
Oh, we've been here since 1917.
I see. And
We
you
were married in 1917, September the 5th, and we like it around Clear Lake. Now we moved into town, and we're going to make it our home as long as we live, and we like it here.
I would like to mention a few words, but the big improvement that's made here in Clear Lake since 60 years. I came to Clear Lake in 1915. At that time, you know, the whole cream to Clear Lake in a wooden creamery, you know, it was just wooden frame. Then, and they had a drugstore next to Mr. Tom Nelson's hardware store right in the corner by the feed mill. So one time I went in the drugstore there and like to have some medicine was 45 cents. What in the hand, the druggist man $5 bill. Druggist says to me, "You think I'm a banker? Handle me buy the 25 cents for the stuff and then handle a man a $5 bill, go in the bank and change your bill and come back and pay for it." So I did. But today, you know, you can handle business man $50. He doesn't tell you go to the bank and change it. He got the money to pay for it. Change it.
Right. What did you folks do with your life in here in the Clear Lake area? What was your business?
Farming and blacksmithing.
I see. Did you have your own blacksmith shop?
Yeah, he did.
I learned the blacksmith trade in Germany. And I came to Hilyar in 1910.
I see. Where did your family go first before you came to Clear Lake?
He's right direct from Germany.
You came right here
I
to
came
Clear
back
Lake?
from Germany. And then
Minneapolis and then to Clear Lake.
I see.
I worked in a crop corn factory. My number was 48,000. There was 100,000 men working in that factory there. I worked a year and a half.
I see.
And I worked in the locomotive factory where they built locomotives, you know, for the European countries. There was about 6,000 men working there. And then 1871, when Germany and France had war, and they captured Napoleon the second, the Kaiser, he left him half part of his home, you know, in Kassel, Germany. And then at that time, you know, the missus, he expected the baby, you know, that's happened everything. And then Napoleon, he went to work and he ordered his wife to Germany, and at the same time they had to bring 4 sacks of dirt, French dirt, Germany. And so they went to work and they put 1 sack French dirt on each bed leg, you know, so that the baby is born in Germany, but not on German soil.
Brought the German dirt.
So that way the baby was a French citizen.
Let's talk about Clear Lake now.
No, Clear Lake. Well, and down there where we have the laundry, you know, there was a bank. Mr. Partler used to own that.
Bank is in the corner.
Yeah.
Up there where the saloon is now. Wait a minute, no. You're right. The bank is in the...
Yeah.
What's it, where the electric shop is now. That's the old bank.
See, and then where the bank is now, there was a big square building. I think it was a hotel in Logan
The
time.
Clear Lake House.
That's the way it looked to me.
House.
What was that?
A boardhouse that belonged to...
I lived-
Her father run
Yeah.
a hotel.
We run that for a while. Yeah.
Tell us about that, Mary.
Well, of course, when I was there, I was quite a bit younger, so it was just
Charlie Ward built
a hard-working place for my mother, was what I felt.
Was it like a boarding house?
Yes,
hotel?
it was a regular hotel. But later, we rented a room in there, and my husband
the old Clear Lake House is where...
had surgery, and they lugged him across the road from Dr. Nelson's office, and I took care of him in that building. Later, then it was a nursing home, semi-nursing home.
I see. I see.
But then it was an apartment after a while.
The old Clear Lake House is where Bill Kessler lives now, over across. This was Clear Lake when I was a boy. They're just moving out of here. You see, up in Clear Lake when I was a boy, you'd go down to Hubbin with mud in the street in the spring of the year, and they had logs laid across the street, so you wouldn't get. You had what they call, yes, riprap they call it, and they had logs laid across the street.
Oh, you call that riplap?
Well, I can't think what you call it now.
Corduroy. Corduroy road.
Riplap, we called it in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
But it's corduroy, they call it here.
Across the mud.
And then across the road.
I see.
And you can imagine how riding a wagon, jump from one log to the other.
I see. Do they have like hitching rails along the
Yes, they have
streets?
kitchen rails all over town. Carl Nelson had them in front of his store and behind his door. Schultz the same way. They had hitching rails behind his door and each side of the store.
I see.
And in front of the store.
Mabel, tell us about your life in Clear Lake. When did you come to Clear Lake, or were you born here?
1930. In 1930.
And what has your family done in Clear Lake?
Well, I have one son in California. He's been in the Navy for many years.
I see.
And then I have one daughter, Mrs. Tony Burr.
I see. What was Clear Lake like when you moved here in 1930? What do you remember the town being like?
About it's improved. It's got more, buildings. A lot of new homes.
I see.
What did Johnny do?
That'll be on what Carl Nelson made.
What did your husband
farmed.
do? He was farming. Didn't he farm? That's what I thought.
Farmed until he got sick.
What the two of you, the three of you women, in fact, have spent your life on farms here in Clear Lake. What kind of reactions do you have to changes that you've seen in your lifetime in farming? And are we accomplishing anything over all these years? Things better now, or what do you think from your life's experiences?
Oh, I'm sure things are better, and farming is the best way in the world of a living for a family. You don't have money, but you have an awful lot of blessings.
Right.
And lots of work. You start with nothing and you're so happy because you raise a family and they're happy. You don't have much when you start, but we do like everybody else to get along. You just take each day as it comes. And I've known Mary Monson since before I was married, I think. And I'll never forget her, what a good neighbor she was. And I remember her mother. I remember Mabel Breeden. We used to go out there pick berries when they lived way east of Reef in that big woods.
And much fun we had at Friday's Canning Company.
Yeah, and then we worked together in Friday Canning Company in Richmond.
For many years.
I worked there for 21 years, just seasonally, just during the season. And I enjoyed every bit of it. And I wish I could be working there yet, because now they get big wages. We only got a little and was satisfied. But that's how we got started. That was my first money I made.
Mary was quite a girl, because when she was engaged to Bill already had bought a farm in our neighborhood, and she came and stayed with a neighbor and helped him make hay. And I thought that sure was jumping the guns as far as work was concerned.
You had to, because you're going to get married and you had to have hay, and there wasn't much of it. The cows almost starved the first winter, but they had a little to eat.
Mabel, can you remember when your father used to buy wood here in Clear Lake?
Yes, that was...
They used to haul wood.
In 1914, my father used to...
He used to buy wood. Wood and ship it to
and he had wood cutters, and then he used to load it in carloads and ship it in different places. He traveled around.
In the wintertime, we hauled all winter long. We went 12 miles a day on a team of horses. Now, these folks can't remember that, but that's before their time. But her father used to haul for him.
I see.
Our neighbor made a living for a family of 8, Sam Sutton,
Yes, I know Sam. He hauled wood,
by
too.
hauling cordwood. Now, this is not wood like people think of now, but it was cordwood, 4 foot long.
Now, I'm talking about cordwood.
Yes.
That's what Sam Sutton, he hauled the same time I did.
Yeah, but that's why they made his living in the wintertime.
That kept us eating.
Yes.
I bet you use wood like this in your construction company, in your construction work too. You had to rely on local supplies like the wood and the.
Oh yeah, as far as that's concerned, after I finished on the schoolhouse here, then I went on construction work. I worked in Minneapolis the next year.
I see.
2 schoolhouses over there, and in the following year went to Faribault and built a building for the deaf and dumb. and then one at the feeble-minded home. The next year went down Marshalltown Highway, built a hospital down there, and I worked in St. Teresa College in Winona.
Through the entire Midwest. Thank you so much for being my guest today here on Clear Lake in Review. Cyrus Hilyar, Mary Monson, Lee Westgate, William Kessler, Mary Kessler, and Mabel Breeden. This program was done today from the Gold and Silver Banquet here at the Catholic Church in Clear Lake, and my thanks to you for being my guests on the program. This is Evie Nurbin reporting for WIXK Clear Lake in Review.